Hey there, Littermates. Welcome back to Boss Kitty Live. I am your host. What's my name? Boss Kitty. That's me. I'm Boss Kitty. That's what I tell myself every day, at least. Let's be honest, though. The three kitty cats in my house are probably the bosses. I don't know what their hierarchy is, but I know that I am at the bottom of that pyramid scheme, and it is a scheme. I have my ears, you guys. I thought, it's been a hot minute since I've worn them. I'm trying to kind of get back to some of the basics. You'd probably have a vest today and maybe even a fancy shirt. But global warming is a real thing. We all know that. Hi, Matt. Oh, my goodness. Somebody else. Oh, How I Disappear was in here, and I was very excited. Nick Cat as well. I'm excited to see all of you. Global warming is a real thing. It is the end of September, and it is 93 flipping. No, you know what? It is 93 fucking degrees outside. I don't get it. I can't afford it, quite frankly, because the electric in our area has gone up. I think it's 17% in the past 2 years, and they're trying to raise it again. So we can't even I looked at TK and I was like, "Can we turn the AC on?" He's like, "Do you know how expensive it is? Expensive it is to turn the AC on for one day and then turn it back off again because it's going to be 66 degrees tomorrow." My body is so exhausted from all of this. Hi, Abby. How are you? Everyone is happy and mostly healthy. TK is still dealing with his hand, but most of the way, we're healthy. It was hot here over the weekend, but has finally started to cool off for now. I thought we were done with this 90 and 80 degree weather bullshit. It was supposed to be in the upper 60s, mid 70s range for Oregon flock and fiber this weekend. It turned out to be like 80 plus degrees, which was fine. I mean, I wasn't boiling or anything, but that's not what you want for a fiber festival, right? You want cozy weather so that you can go inside and be like, fiber and yarn and all these squishable goodies. I want to be able to wear my hoodie to a fiber festival. Not really, but have the choice, or maybe actually wear a knitted or crocheted item. But that was not the case. Hi, Carmen. Spooky season is upon us. Woo! Spooky, sweaty season at this rate. So yeah, it's supposed to be 66 tomorrow. Very excited about that. I might even wear one of my knit sweaters. Jeez, listen to me. One of my sweaters that I have knit. And then I think it's supposed to get back up into the 70s for the next week. And then hopefully we'll start to see some 60s in October. Because Tuesday, I believe, my loves, is it Tuesday that's October 1st? I think that's right. Well, hold on. Yeah, that doesn't want to show me a calendar. Today's the 24th. Yeah, next Tuesday's the 1st. That means you guys get back-to-back shows because we had to postpone this show due to Oregon flock and fiber and prep for that. That means that you get your secondary show for this month today, and then next Tuesday you get the first show for October. So it'll officially be the spooky season. We'll be here. It's going to be a blast. So let's actually jump right into that. We'll start with that, and then we'll go back and talk about Oregon flock and fiber for a little bit. So October 1st is Tuesday. As most of you know, we're doing a box set for Halloween, for the fall, basically for autumn. We've decided, last year we went ahead and removed the autumn box set entirely, and I regret that. I did not enjoy not doing one. But we can't do the massive box sets that we do in the springtime, which is like the double box set where you get to choose all these different colors, and it's a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of work. And since this is already a busy season for us with shows and then trunk shows and then Black Friday and so on and so forth, we kind of compromised. So we're going back to basics again, and we're doing a singular box set. So it will be 5 skeins of yarn. One of those will be kitty glitter or BKDK kitty glitter or super floof, whatever base you get, right? And then there will be an additional glittery or super floofy skein or bump of fiber or yarn that is patron exclusive. That colorway will be a patron exclusive colorway. If you are a patron that is at a paid tier, you can head over to patreon.com/bosskitty, and they are voting right now on what that colorway will be. And I suppose you want to know what the box set's going to be. A lot of you already know because you've been here. We theme all of these. The last one we did was the Jim Henson inspired one. So that was the Fibers, the Dreamers, and You box set. And that was massive. We did a Doctor Who set before that. You love all the deep tonal colors right behind you. You mean these and these? We'll be talking about that as well. Oh, sorry. I'm very excited. So the theme for the autumn set is going to be an overlapping theme over, I hope, many years. I'm kind of digging into my witchy side, right? My Wiccan roots and vibes, and we're doing kind of a hedge witch thematic overlaying umbrella theme, basically. There, that's a good way to put it. So the sub theme for it, so this box set's theme will be tea. It's called the tea set. If you get the Kitty Glitter set or the BKDK Kitty Glitter set or the Super Floof set, it'll be the Pinkies Up edition. TK doesn't know that yet. I just decided that. And what that's going to be is it's going to be 5 skeins of yarn that are inspired by different plants that are used to make teas. I can't send tea out with them because I don't have a food license, but we will have either a little card in there with information about the different types of plants, their medicinal uses, their magical uses, things like that. Or each label will have a blurb about that specific type of tea, that plant. If we do that, then I need to have lots of labels, and TK is designing the label as we speak, basically. So the goal is to release the label to the public on October 1st during our show. So that's what we'll be doing next Tuesdays. You guys will get to see the tea time or tea set label. Tea set. It's not tea time. It's tea set. Tea set box set. From your outfit, PK, that Salem is about as hot as Eugene. You are not wrong, my love. Love the witchy things, all the things. Thanks, Moonbow. Me too. We've gone really, all out spooky for Halloween and stuff. And I really just kind of wanted to dig into those roots for myself. Plus, it means that I get to put together my hedge witch costume, which I shouldn't even call it a costume. But I have that hat I made, the one I felted a few years ago, that witch's hat. We're going to take that. We're going to start working on that on Tuesday. And we're going to take some green fiber. Not my dyed stuff. I've got some like merino sitting around or somewhere, BFL. We're going to take some greens and browns, and we're going to needle felt moss onto it and flowers and just kind of witch of the woods it up, basically. And then I've got a corset I'm going to do the same thing with. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a process, but you guys will get to be a part of it. The Fry from Future on Take My Money meme. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I don't have an official price yet. I have to figure that out. You guys know how that works, but generally what the prices are on these. They're anywhere between, usually, don't quote me on this, like 150 or 60 to like 180, depending on what base you get. So I have to look, I have to figure out the math, all that kind of stuff. We are offering it on all of our bases. That's what we're doing moving forward. Except for mohair, obviously. I'm not doing that shit on mohair. I love you guys, but no. Mohair is in a league of its own. Cottagecore spooky season. Exactly. My favorite type of spooky season. So I'm really excited about this box set. It's going to be really lovely and beautiful. If you like our undertones, you're really going to like this set because that's the kind of vibe it's got. It's those really natural, soft, deep, rich colors. That doesn't mean they're all going to be like really dark like our undertones tend to be. Some of them might be more silvery or paler or gray, but they're not going to be bright, bright, bright. There's a few colors. I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. Hibiscus is going to be one of the colors. That's the other thing. I don't believe that we're coming up with special names for them. I'm literally just naming them after the plant. What I might do is I might give them the Latin names for the plant and then in parentheses or something put down what that stands for, or you'll know what that stands for. But I think I might use the Latin names for each plant if I can fit them on there. Some of those get pretty long. I think that would be kind of neat though. I'm very excited. So if you head over to Patreon right now and you are a paid subscriber, like you're one of the paid tiers, like I said, you can vote on that 6th colorway. I will tell you guys what those colorways are though, the options. Let me see if I can remember off the top of my head. So it's witch hazel. So witch hazel, rose hips, lavender, and horehound. I believe those are the 4 options you have. And I believe that all day long, because I posted that last night, all day long, witch hazel and rose hips have been neck and neck. And those are 2 very, very different types of plants and very different colored plants. So it'll be very interesting to see where that goes, because one of the things I am doing with this, and I don't generally do this when I'm doing box sets, but I'm actually trying to think about the colors that are going into this. So we've been putting this box together and I'm like, okay, I want this plant and this plant because those work well together, but then I can't use this plant because I've already got this color going over here. Did you know that there are a lot of purple and greens in tea plants, apparently, and yellows, but different types of yellows. Hibiscus obviously will be in the main set because it's the fire of all tea plants. It's just so sassy, you guys. Come on. So that's the box set. Also, if you are a Patreon, if you're a patron, you're a paid tier patron, I believe that we will also, I don't know if it'll be October 1st. I would like it to be October 1st. I have to talk to TK to see if we can get that up there in time. But we'll be doing the same thing that we did with the Fibers, the Dreamers new box set. We will be doing an early, a pre-order for you guys. So you will be able to, I'm going to throw October 1st out there. October 1st, probably the 2nd, honestly. October 1st through the 9th. So it'll only be pre-orders for a week. So maybe October 1st to the 8th. Because I have to order the yarn after that. I'll have enough on hand to do the ones you guys see, but everything's dyed to order, as you know. And I think we're releasing the set on the 25th, I think we're doing an extra show. Either we're doing an extra show on the 22nd, or we're doing an extra show on the 25th, I think. We could release it in a week early, possibly. I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts are on that, actually, because I really wanted to do our Halloween show and our release party as the same show for this. I thought that would be kind of neat. So you'll get an extra show in October. You'll get the show on the 1st, you'll get the show on the 15th, and then you'll either get a show on the 22nd, the 25th, or the 18th. I don't know which one yet. We'll figure that out. But that's around the time that this will drop to everybody else. But you will, if you are a patron, you will have that availability to order in advance. And then the day that those drop is the day that yours will be mailed out. Actually, the day after they drop will be the day that yours is mailed out. Because if I have an exact number, then I can use one of those as the showcase, basically. So if it drops on the 18th, and they'll mail out on the 19th, as an example. But you guys will have yours in your hot little hands before anybody else does. Purples and greens make you happy. They make me happy too. And yeah, I'm excited. So we have so much to talk about, but I also want to, actually play with some stuff tonight too. So we did Oregon Flock and Fiber this weekend. It is normally just have a show every day the last week of October. I really should, right? It is our biggest show of the year. It has been since we started. It's really the only fiber eccentric show, that's not a trunk show, that we do. We don't really do a lot of other shows that aren't trunk shows or pop-up shows at shops. So it's usually pretty successful for us. And I'm saying usually, and this year was no different. It was the second most successful show that we've had. The one in 2022 was a little more successful, but not by a lot. But that show was also right after 2 years off due to COVID. So I think people had, they were just itching to buy. Hello, Miss Rat. I realized something while I was doing off. A lot of things. But at the show itself, I realized the Oregon Flock and Fiber, I think, is how do I say this? I think I've decided it is the most, I said this so well the other day. Rural, not so well because it's a hard word for me to say, type of fiber show that we want to do. I don't want to go any more farmy than that. Not that I don't love livestock, not that I don't love, all of those things that come with that. I think those are wonderful. But our yarn tends to have more of an urban vibe to it, as do I. And I kind of feel like maybe those types of shows will suit us better. That doesn't mean we're not going to do Oregon Flock and Fiber, because it still is a really great show for us, and it's a great mix of the two. We tried doing a show out in Prairie City a few years ago that was not good for us, and it's not that it wasn't a good show. I'm sure it was. It wasn't a good fit for us because it was very much a, rural type show of here's our hand spun and all that, which is lovely, but it wasn't, the electric colors that I have behind me, they weren't really digging those. So I think, thank you. It is a hard word to say. I think that more urban type shows are going to be the focus that we do, and I really am trying to get into more festivals. So Flock and Fiber in Seattle was in August. We missed it, unfortunately. I didn't even know it existed, you guys. This is how out of the loop I am. I've heard nothing but great things about it. So as soon as they open up the vendor applications, we will be applying. Hopefully we will get in. That'll be next August. Yeah, that would be phenomenal. There's a few shows in California that I would like to do. I won't be able to do them next year because we're already pretty booked up. Like, we're in Sonoma in June, I think. Yeah, in June. And TK is doing a comic book event. He's created a comic book event here in the Valley. And so that's on our 10-year anniversary, actually. That'll be at the end of May. So we're kind of back to back with that. PK is a city witch. Yes, I am. I mean, I love myself a good forest, and the ocean will always be home for me in my heart of hearts. But I also like to glow under a black light, quite frankly. So yeah, I'm excited about the idea of Seattle. There's some other shows. We've got a new channel in Discord. If you know of a fiber event or festival in your area that you think fits us, please post it. Please post the information about it. That's not a promise that we can go to it. Things that are on the West Coast, Pacific Northwest, those are easier for us to get to because travel is easier. We don't have to ship our materials and stuff. And because I have a 9 to 5, I can't really take a long time off to drive across country to do a show. That makes it very difficult. So if the show is something that's like out there, then yeah, we'll try to make it happen. I really want to do YarnCon in Chicago. This is the other issue is there's so many yarn shows or fiber shows that happen in April and May, and I'm not supposed to take time off from work because that's tax season. So as it is local yarn shop day, I've already talked to my boss. I'm like, I might have to leave early on Friday to get out to Washington for a show I have that weekend. He's like, you're fine, whatever. Y'all know about the new Portland one, Sacred Sheep. I am actually going to Sacred Sheep as a consumer this year. I will be heading out there with Wisdom Queen and another friend of ours just to check it out, see if it's something that works for us. If it is, then yes, absolutely. That'll be another one that for next year that I will be applying for. But, there's never any guarantee because a lot of those have there's a judge panel, a panel of judges, and they decide whether or not they think that your stuff is good for their show. Not good, in general, but good for their show. So it really will depend. That one is in November. It's November. Let's see. It's the weekend before we're in Vancouver, Washington. So it's November. Sacred Sheep is November 2nd and 3rd, I think. Is that right? It's got to be. I hope it is because the 9th and 10th, I'm at Hook and Needle, which I'm very excited about. That's our next pop-up show. So we don't have a pop-up show or a trunk show or anything in October because we've got the box set. Then we're at Hook and Needle in Vancouver, Washington, which I've never been to the shop. I've heard nothing but good things. I have matching tattoos with one of the shop owners, although hers are more like badass because I use dainty flowery type font. But, I'm totally cool with that because I'm a dainty flowery badass. So they're great. If you haven't checked them out, go to any of their social medias because they're hilarious and wonderful. It's really funny because we started doing those down and dirty knit tutorials and they were doing something really similar at the same time and I didn't realize it and it kind of happened at the same time. It's nice to see a new show in Portland though. It is. I'm surprised. It is you have to pay to get in. You have to pay for a ticket. Not a complaint. I think that's fast. I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. That helps to pay for the venue. It helps keep the costs down for vendors, which I think is really important. Plus the price is not crazy. I was surprised that you have to choose a time. Like your ticket has a time on it. So 11 10, 12, 1, whatever. You can stay as long as you want. You can leave and come back, but you can't get in before that time on your ticket. I have mixed feelings about that. If you can stay as long as you want, I'm not quite sure what the reasoning behind it is. Other than the fact that it means, you don't get a rush of people all at once in the morning. So maybe it's a little easier for, the vendors and for people coming in. So we'll see. I'm excited about it. I just saw the Rose City Yarn Crawl announcement for them next year, already scheming a flight back out to the West. Yes, and I would love to find a place to call home for Rose City Yarn Crawl. I have had such a hard time finding a shop to set up at. So we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, that's another one that's difficult because it's during tax season. But I could probably, usually it's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? So maybe if there's a shop out there that's like, yeah, we like Boss Kitty Yarn, we'd like to have you there, we can squeeze you in on Saturday or Sunday, I could make that work. I just wouldn't be able to be there Thursday through Sunday unless TK was like, I can be there on Thursday and I can be there on Thursday and Friday with my sexy deep voice and my piercing blue eyes. He would sell so much more yarn than I would, honestly. Let's not lie about that. You haven't been, so I don't know the vibe. It's nice to see a new show. Yeah. And they do tattoos while they're there. Like there's a tattoo artist that's there that does like fiber inspired tattoos, which I think is great. So lots of stuff coming up. Lots of new shows. We're looking at a lot of new shows for next year. So like I said, our next trunk show will be in Vancouver, Washington, Hook and Needle, and then we don't have a show we have Black Friday, obviously, but that's here. No show in December, no show in January. February, no show. March is when Rose City Yarn Crawl is. So I'm hoping, like I said, that somebody will take this orphan, homeless little indie dye studio girl and throw her in their shop. We'll see what happens. April for local yarn shop day, we will be back at a Little Nitty in Washington. They've moved. Their new shop is beautiful from what I can tell. May, I don't think we have anything. June for Knit and Public Day will be in Sonoma. Okay, yeah, at Noma Knits in California. And honestly, I think we're gonna have a vacation while we're there. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna stay like a week or two because we have friends, and I've never been to any of that part of California, and TK is very excited about it. And then we'll see what happens with the rest of like I said, hopefully we'll be at Flock and Fiber in August, and we'll see what happens. If he was going to mind the store. That's very true, Miss Monster. Actually made me think of going though. I don't know if I have the stamina. I know it's it's like stars and stuff, right? So the shawl that I have, the Wittershins shawl, that's what it makes me think of. And I could do a Rose City Yarn Crawl colorway just in the kitty glitter, and it would be amazing. Anyway, I'm dreaming. So if you hadn't noticed by the name of the show, we've had a busy few weeks. We've had a trunk show every month or a festival every month since June, which doesn't seem like a very long time. But even before June, May, we had we released our trunk our box set, or maybe it was the end of April, but it might as well be May because it means I'm crazy busy, right? So since April, we have been nonstop. And TK and I actually got into an argument a week or two ago, actually, because I was going to go hang out with some friends, and he was kind of put off by it. And I was surprised. I said, I haven't really gone and done anything in weeks, even over a month. And he looked at me and he's like, yeah, but you've also been gone. Like, you've been nonstop gone. You've been doing trunk shows. You've been in the studio. Like, any time we've had together has been work in some capacity, or I just haven't seen you. And it occurred to me that he was absolutely right. Just because I hadn't been out hanging out with friends or doing things, with my free time, hadn't had any free time. So we both realized that we were overbooking ourselves. We were overbooking the shows or the store. We also came to a realization that while trunk shows are great, they're not financially very sound for us, especially once out of the area. Once all is said and done, once this shop gets their cut, once you take into account the cost of the yarn that gets sold, once you take into account the lodging and the gas and the food, Like the percentage of actual profit that comes back with us is minuscule. They are great for creating a rapport with a shop and making sure that, we work with that shop, that things work well with that shop before they do a wholesale order. It's like a nice test. And doing those with shops that we have wholesale orders with in general, that we already have a partnership with on occasion every few years or so, like we do with Cozy, or like we're going back out to a Little Nitty, right? Those are perfectly fine because those do bring in a little more revenue. And also they're close enough that I'm not paying out the nose for a hotel in most of those cases. So we're trying to reevaluate how we do this in some ways and work smarter, not harder. Um, yeah, owning a business sucks sometimes in a good way. I mean, I don't regret it. I love it. But man, it is so difficult sometimes. When you start out, when you're really, really small, you're that like little look through a microscope type size. I don't want to say it's easy because that sounds so condescending. And I don't mean that. It's not easy. Emotionally, it's draining. It's so stressful. And not for everybody, but financially, it's much, much easier. Because no matter what it is, unless it's like something really big and insane. Yeah. Down and over. I thought you weren't. You lean forward. I thought you weren't watching the show. Oh. I am pretty. When you first start out like that, oh, that's too close actually, because now you guys are getting me in the red. You do a show and you make a few $1,000s, and because your overhead is so little, like it's practically all profit, and that's great, and it's exciting, and it's so not, it's stressful still, but when the show's over, most of the stress is gone. You get to this point where you are not a big business, but not really this tiny little small business anymore either, right? So and it's not, I'm not even talking tax brackets, but we could get into that. That's a whole different show. You're this weird blob. You're like a teenager. You're like a preteen. Oh my gosh. It's that awkward teenage preteen years. And it happens with small businesses too. And so you're bigger than you were, and therefore your overhead is more. And there's more hours going into it, and you have to buy equipment because you have to keep up with demand. But your demand is not so high that it is substantially covering the cost of those things that you need. So you end up in this weird limbo spot where you're like, holy hell, I am busting my adorable hiney, and I'm turning around, and it's not that the profit margin isn't great, because it is, don't get me wrong, or that the thing that you do isn't something you're passionate about and still love to do, because I do. But you're like, holy hell, how is it that this is all going back here, and this is going here, and this is going here, and I am struggling to make sure that I can, restock my inventory, as an example. So we had a great show it off. Exactly. Other than TK, and TK has a bum finger right now, or bum hand. So he can do marketing, but not yarn or anything. So here's an example. We had a great show it off. We're still paying off equipment that we bought to expand the business. So we had a great show it off, but what I have back here, I'm not restocking until after we do our box set. So after pre-orders for box set have closed, we'll order yarn for it, and any additional yarn, I will order more yarn to fill in my holes over here. Because I do have some. We're out of some Larkspur. We're out of Princess of Mars and some stuff. Holes happen, right? And I would like to be fully stocked for Hook and Needle in November. So right now I'm kind of gambling on it. I have to, because I have these bills that have to be, these business bills that have to be paid. And it's difficult. It's very stressful. So if you are in that point, if you are getting to that point, and I've read a lot of things that say that is the part where a lot of businesses fall apart, where they just give up, they stop because it's too much. It's too hard. Trying to get over that hump is such a nightmare. Taxes really do kick into that as well. But if you're at that place, if you have to give up, I get it. And it's not, It's not a reflection on yourself. But don't do it. Don't give up because you're frustrated. Because I do truly believe that if you, do those zombie economics for a year or 2 or 5 or whatever it's going to be, you can push through it. That's what we're trying to do. It's just so frustrating sometimes. We're not entirely out of larkspur. We're out of larkspur in BKDK. We're out of larkspur in a cat's cradle. We're out of larkspur and mohair, which you guys didn't even know we had, so that one doesn't matter. I think I've got 2 skeins in kitty glitter, and then I've got all the larkspur in floof and super floof. By all, I mean I have 2 bumps in each of those. So yeah, larkspur was cray cray this weekend. It always is. I don't know why I'm surprised. So that is my wise, long-winded bitch fest that took half an hour. Sorry, guys. About how hard it is to have a small business, and it's okay that it's hard. And don't get discouraged. Seriously, please don't get discouraged by any of it. About being discouraged. So we released our super floof, like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, something like that, not even. And remember when we released it, how I was so surprised and a little disappointed how the colors turned out so much lighter than they did in the BFL, right? Even some of the BFL colors like Forest Park did not look as vibrant as I wanted them to. Well, trial and error, my loves. It's fixed. We will be taking new pictures probably in November because the pictures that we have right now do not do my fiber justice. And I'm about to show that to you. Look, an actual workspace, because we were going to spin and we still might. So this is Forest Park in Super Floof. And this is what Forest Park in Super Floof is supposed to look like. Not the very pale thing that it was before. Isn't that freaking gorgeous? Look at this. Look at this shit right here. I'm just over the moon with it. We don't even have Reborn in Fire in the shop because when I did it, it didn't turn out properly. You guys got those in good bags, actually. They're very, very pale, right? So this is Reborn in Fire in Super Floof, the way it's supposed to look. I just had to get the dye bases down. Truthfully, it takes much more dye to dye floof, especially with the silk, than it does to dye yarn. That's what I learned. That is gorgeous. Thank you. We also now have Mithril in floof. And I was really concerned about how this was going to turn out because it's just BFL, right? But it's actually really lovely. It's such a sweet color. When I first did it, I was like, if it doesn't come out great, I can throw some Teenage Angst on there. It'll be fine, whatever. I've got so much. How do I get it darker? More dye, baby, which means more monies, right? But I really do like the way it turned out. It's so soft, you guys. I'm going to show off a few others real quickly, if that's okay. I'm sure you don't mind. Why would you? Let's see here. So, which one do I want to show off? They're all so pretty. Yeah, we'll go with this one. So this is Bruiser in Super Floof. Bruiser is such an anomaly. Okay, so you guys know your undertones have brass colors in them, and then they've got the overtones, right? Or the colors that go over the top of them. Bruiser is one of the only ones where it seems to separate a lot. So you get the purple in the silk, but the silk also has flashes of white like this, and then you get these deep browns. I know. It's gorgeous, though. It looks like rocks. There was one skein, it's gone. And there was one bump that's gone. But yeah, it was just amazing. So this, this might be my favorite version of Bruiser, which is one of my favorite colors. This right here, I'm so intrigued to see what this will look like when it's spun up. Because it's just so beautiful in a bump like this. I did one skein or one bump, I keep calling them skeins, of Victoria. And I did it in Super Floof with a bunch of skeins or bumps of Floof Victoria. And because I had changed the amount of dye, It was the sexiest skein of Victoria I've ever made. It's gone. Somebody purchased it. In fact, the owners of Jenkins Spindles purchased it. I forgot to go over there and get their card. I was like, if nobody grabbed that, I was going to. And she's like, this is mine. I was like, well, you can have it. But it was really beautiful. So I'm hoping to replicate that. So but we're going to have to update our pictures. But for now, just so you guys are aware, this is what the forest park we have looks like. This is, if you are looking, after you get it and the other's day, just like that, Bubbles. Yes, that means I got it right. So if you are a spinner and you've been eyeballing the Super Floof, yes, our colors are spot on where they're supposed to be now. So if you are interested in the forest park, remember it looks like this. It doesn't look like, oh my God, it's so pretty. It doesn't look like what's on the website right now. So that's all updated. We have a bunch of stuff in stock. This is the first time we've had Bruiser in stock in a hot minute as far as Floof and Super Floof goes. We also have Ectoplasm in stock for the BFL, for the Floof, which is also unheard of. I'm not done. And I have one left of the Super Floof, which is just so pretty. So those are in the shop right now. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware, that you knew what the difference was, because it has changed drastically. And those new pictures will be up in Vancouver in November at the latest. Okay, I think I've talked my little heart out about everything I needed to talk about. So let's actually, I mean, we can still chat. That's the whole point of the show, right? But let's go ahead and spin while we chat, if that's okay. So we've got that beautiful hat that I did with the fractal spin in Craft Girl Summer, which I can't show you. Craft Girl Summer, by the way, is also drastically changed in Super Floof. It looks just like it does for Floof now, but I'm sold out. So can't show it to you. In fact, so much so that when I dyed it up and put it out at the shop or at the festival, I almost changed the name of the original Craft Girl Summer Super Floof to Craft Girl Spring because it was so pastel. The Floof and Super Floof look so cozy. They are cozy and they're so much fun to spin. I'm actually going to show off spinning the Super Floof. The Super Floof has a merino silk blend, and I know a lot of people are kind of shy away from that because it's two very different staples. But as you will see, it's fairly easy to spin. If you're new to spinning, it's still not something I would recommend to start with. Definitely our BFL. It spins like a dream. Oh my gosh, there's only 4 posts in show and tell. Let's fix that. But yeah, it's just, So, we have that lovely fractal spin in Craft Girl Summer. I really wanted to show off Henson and Oz in, Super Floof because I just think it's so beautiful, right? I don't have it in Floof yet because I ran out of my greens that make the ectoplasm green. So I have to hold off on that. But my plan is to spin this, and I'm not splitting it. I'm not doing anything. I'm just drafting from the braid itself, which means I'm going to get long sections of one color, which is what I'm going for because I'm not going to apply it on itself either. Get ready to lose your shit, guys. I'm going to apply it with Super Floof Mithril. So we're going to put these two together. I think it's either going to be dingy and terrible, and I will regret it, but whatever. Or it's going to be so beautiful. I thought about putting it with ectoplasm, but I don't want more green in there. I really do think that this is just going to be so lovely. It's a little blown out because it's so awesome. The regular BFL Floof would be great for a beginner. That's so, because I am ADHD girl and I'm all over the place. And that reminded me, I need to really quickly shout out to the people who helped me out this weekend for Oregon Flock and Fiber. TK, obviously. Wisdom Queen was a rock star. She helped us break down and our setup and break down. Catastrophe came out on Sunday and helped us break down. It was really kind of her. Scarlet Pirate, who's not in here anymore or hasn't been in some time, aka my friend Emily, she helped me sling yarn on Saturday. And then I'm going to give an MVP award to Matilda, who I don't know if she's in here. She probably isn't. I don't know what her username is, honestly, but I used to change that girl's diapers. She crochets. She was very excited to come help out. She helped me set up. She helped sling yarn both days, and then she helped break down. And she was amazing. That girl had 18 years old. She had the prices down. She had the fiber content down. She was personable. She was just amazing. She also picked up some. That's okay. I'll figure out. It's fine. I mean, you moved it a lot actually, but no. I can just move my stuff. She also picked up some fiber, and then she picked up one of those. She didn't pick up one of our drop spindles. She picked up a generic drop spindle, beginner's student's drop spindle, like one of those old Ashford ones that looks like a boat anchor. And I was very concerned. I was like, Matilda, this thing is huge and heavy and it's going to be miserable. And she is having difficulty with it, but she's spinning on it still. It's very thick spun yarn, but she's enjoying it. And she used the BFL and she seems to not be having an issue with it at all. So yeah, worked out really well. From diapers to fibers. Oh, I should tell her that. She'll love it, Coco. Hello, Coco. I didn't realize you were in here. It's so good to see you. Here, there's a lot of people in here I haven't seen in a while, so y'all get some confetti. Okay, so let's actually spin for a little bit. I feel like if I don't do at least a little bit of crafting during the show, then it's a misleading show, and that's rude. It is a little hard to spin right now, though, because it's so hot. My hands are a little sticky, which sounds gross. I'm trying to get this relatively fine, but you have to stop every now and then and remind yourself of that's what you're doing. I also have the speed on my wheel down to like 45. I've usually got it up to 55 or 60, just so I can take my time evening stuff out. And if I'm being honest, this is how I start most spins. I'm really meticulous about it. I try really hard to make things even and nice. And then, much like everything in an ADHD person's brain and life, eventually at some point it just gets messy and I'm like, whatever, it'll work. Let's call it a day. Because I get impatient, right? I want to move on to the gray. I want to move on to the plain. I want to move on to the knitting or the crocheting. I want to move on to the pictures. Like, I'm always ready to move on to the next thing. I have to stop sometimes and remind myself that it's really important to just enjoy what you're doing in the moment. I do too, Matt. Yay for friends indeed. Whew, it is warm in here. Got iced coffee over there and I haven't had much of it. So I am taking a class at work right now to learn the secrets of Power BI, which I was very excited about this class. It's something I really do want to learn. I love the concept of it. I do love the graphics and the charts that come out of Power BI, and the fact that if you, you can input stuff in there that is constantly being updated based off of the source material. I think that's really cool. And then you can share it with different people and, everybody's got different views on it, all that kind of stuff. So I was super excited about this class. So for beginner spinner, do you recommend lotioning your hands? Oh, that's a good question. If you're going to lotion your hands, I would recommend doing it with something that has lanolin in it if you're not allergic. Don't use like an oily, like a super heavy oily synthetic type of lotion, because you don't want that in your fiber, but lanolin is naturally in fiber anyway, so it shouldn't hurt it. I wouldn't oil them too much just because it'll get uncomfortable. You shouldn't have an issue with your hands drying out for BFL or most merino, Shetland, really any type of natural animal fiber that has been processed correctly shouldn't be an issue, because there should still be some oils in there. If there's not, then the fibers become very brittle. Wool becomes an issue. Silk can be an issue. Bamboo can be an issue. All those things by themselves, because there's no natural oils in the fiber. Most of those are plant fiber, except for silk, which is sometimes plant fiber and sometimes insect fiber. Anyway, so those will start to dry your hands out, and they can actually be very uncomfortable. Hemp, linen, those things. Cotton is such a nightmare to knit with, crochet with, spin with. I mean, the result is lovely, but oh my gosh, it's just miserable. You're taking a candy corn and pumpkin amigurumi class at the library. Ooh, I can't wait to see it. It does sound fun. I watched a video the other day of some girl who turned her face into a big candy corn. So I was talking to TK because he's, like I said, he's putting together this comic book event. It's like a comic swap, but not like a creepy basement comic swap. And it kind of inspired me, especially after off. I was like, what about this? And he thinks that my idea is too nichey. He doesn't think that there's enough people, niche, that there's enough people in one space that would be into it to make it successful. And it is he's not wrong, I don't think. But I'm still going to put it out there just so you guys can hear it because I think it's a good idea. I was thinking of a crafters show. So I know a lot of you guys know about Geek Craft Expo, which is a craft market that is focused on pop culture and nerd culture, right? My only complaint, and it's not really a complaint, but my only complaint with Geek Craft Expo is that it's really less a maker's market. Like it's not for makers, it's for consumers. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like the things that are there are generally completed items. They're not tools. We've sold there before. We don't do terribly, but it's not a great show for us because we supply tools for makers. We do not supply completed items. I mean, I guess you could just hoard yarn. That really is a hobby all within itself. So I was thinking of a show that is focused on, how do I put this? Pop culture, nerd culture for the crafters, for the makers. And what it would have is you would have vendors that all have tools, right, to sell. So yarn, materials like fabric, maybe certain types of foam or pre-made parts to armor so that you can put your own armor together, paints for miniatures, or maybe you sell STDL files for miniatures, that type of thing, right? And then, good night, Moonbow. It's good to see you. And then you would have lectures and classes based around that. So maybe you have some cosplay classes on how to work warble. Is that what it's called? The foam that they use for their armor and stuff. How to do certain types of makeup effects, how to style a wig, that type of thing. If you're going with the cosplay part of it, you could have a painting class for miniatures, or there's, people can sell stuff to do terrain, or there's a map class on how to create a map, a digital map for, your tabletop gaming, that type of thing. Or those folks who make knitting needle crochet hook wands. Niche. There we go. Niche. That's what I was looking for. Does static electricity affect the fiber catching itself? Not normally, Lillian. Sometimes it's got to be really dry out there for that to happen. But I don't live in a very dry place. This has been the most humid summer of my life, by the way. I love Geek Craft Expo too, but I want more of I want a fiber festival that's a crafters festival for nerds, I guess. Yeah, you could make specialty hooks, absolutely, that look like wands or sonic screwdrivers, whatever your theme is. Or maybe you make hook cases that are thematic. I have a Doctor Who one, bags and things like that. That's great. And those are pre-made items, and that's totally fine because they are a tool that crafters use, right? Aprons would be fine. But you could also sell the things to make those things as well. Anyway, I paintbrushes that are thematic, whatever. But I thought it would be neat. And I thought the classes would be neat. And I thought, this is me getting a little ahead of myself, but there are a lot of celebrities out there that are like pop culture, nerd culture icons, and they are also crafty little mofos. Not that I'm saying they would come to these things, but Allison Hannigan is a primary example of one of those. She is a knitter, and I know for a fact she owns a spinning wheel because her husband bought it from one of the local yarn shops that used to be in downtown Portland for her 40th birthday. And I know that because my mom was there when he picked it up. Crafty Wonderland. I've not ever been to Crafty Wonderland, so I will check that out. I'm going to guess that that's during the winter. Maybe I have gone to that. Is that, no, I'm thinking of the Holiday Bazaar. No, I haven't checked that out yet, Carmen. Sonic screwdriver hooks actually exist. Adds to cart. Sadly, you're in Australia. I mean, we could just like, kidnap you for a weekend. You can come hang out. It'll be great. Anyway, I wanted to know what you guys thought of that idea. Like I said, TK thinks that it's a little too niche to be a successful show or convention or festival, whatever it is you want to call it. And he might be right. I'm a very strange little butthole, so, not everything can be perfectly designed for myself. That is exactly when it was, Rat. He walked in, he's like, they were actually, it was during like a knit night or a spin-in night. I think it was a spin night. He walked in, I think he was going to buy her some yarn or something. And then he saw the wheels and he was completely fascinated. And they talked him into buying one. I don't remember what type. I just remember being really pissed off that I wasn't there. And I have no idea if she uses it or if she was like, no. Although I can't imagine. But I do know that she had one. That's kind of what I thought, Rat. And I've talked to a few other friends who thought the same thing. They're like, you just start small, see how it goes. That's how Rose City Comic Con started out. It was a very small little community festival or convention. And now it's like this huge ass thing like Emerald City is. Yeah, crafty people are nerdy. And a lot of those things that you do as nerds, cosplay, D&D, whatever it is, a lot of those things you kind of have to be crafty to do it. So they kind of go hand in hand a lot of the time. Not always. If you're a cosplayer, either you're crafty or you're rich. One or the other. Or your cosplay career is going to be very short-lived. There's a lot of geek nerd culture. When is it, Carmen? Just out of curiosity. Oh my goodness. We're in the white part of this now. Can you guys see how easy this is to spin? So this is a mix of silk and merino. I've not split this at all. I'm just drafting directly from the braid. And you can see I'm not having any problem with it whatsoever. Watch, now I'm going to, now that I said that, but hopefully not. It's drafting with no issue. It's drafting evenly from the braid. I'm not having to worry about it coming from one side or the other more. Part of that is because my braids are not as thick as some people's braids are. I'm not tooting my own horn. I didn't do that on purpose. It just turned out that way. But I've noticed that it makes drafting much easier. For me, at least. Doctor Who, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, exactly. And sometime in spring. December makes sense. I might go check it out in December. We don't have any big shows or anything in December. I try to keep December and January for Boss Kitty stuff kind of on the down low. Just because of the holidays and my birthday, it's nice to get that little breather, Plus, for the purposes of taxes, most shops try really hard not to restock before the first of the year. That's why Black Friday exists, is so that we can get rid of our excess stock, because we don't want to get dinged on our taxes for it. That's a real thing, guys. I'm in tax brain, by the way. Ooh, there's a little bit of pink in there. It's so pretty. I've got taxes on the brain. I've actually got to finish up our taxes from last year. I'm on the extension. So those have to be done in the next 3 weeks. So I'm almost done with them, working on them, but I'm doing them myself this year. Here's another little small business thing. So I'm doing our taxes myself. Now I've done our taxes every year myself up until about 2000. I don't know, the last 4 or 5 years, we've had somebody else do them for us. It's awesome, Elizabeth. But I really see to finish my cardigan. I want to see your cardigan, Isabel. And then we decided to have somebody else do our taxes. And at first that was great. We owed money, but we were expecting to have to owe money, blah, blah, blah. I'll get real with y'all. I had somebody do my taxes for 2022, and they told us that we owed $5,000. Just going to let that sink in for a second. If I had a scream button right now, I would have hit it because that's what I did. And I had to pay them to tell me that. So I do my own QuickBooks. He took my QuickBooks. He took 15 minutes with it and came back and said this. He had also told me at one point that our giveaways, our gift cards that we give you guys, the yarn that we give away, was not a tax deductible item, that I could not write that off. That was inventory. Which is not true, actually. It's very much a tax deductible item, I've now been told. So there's hundreds, if not thousands of dollars worth of tax deductions that I did not take this year or last year or the year before that. It fucking sucks. There's a few other things too. So I decided to do our taxes myself this year, but I also work for the Department of Revenue in the tax department. Like, that's my job, is seasonal supervising. So doing it during tax season was impossible. So I'm doing it now. It's a little overwhelming because not only am I dealing with the business, I'm dealing with our own other finances that come into the house. And then on top of that, we bought a house last year. So there's a million little tiny things to deal with that I'm figuring out. But I suspect that we will either owe very, 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 very little this year or this last year, or we will owe nothing and they will actually owe us, which would be amazing. And I suspect I will also be putting an amendment in for our taxes that I paid somebody else to do, because it sounds like they did them quickly and not right. I'm great, Samantha. How are you? They're fantastic. The gradient coming up looks like a peach. I agree. As an IRS revenue agent. Yeah. Vicky. Yeah, I feel ya. File an amended return if you have additional expenses. That's my plan. Right now, just want to get these taxes in because they're due, right? Like, I put the extension in. So this is my goal right now. And then I'm going to focus on the 2022 taxes to put that amendment in so that I can stop crying over the thousands of dollars that I owe at the moment. Because it made no sense. I'm like, how do I owe all that money? Like, I'm barely, we're house poor right now. But even before that, like, it was like everything was going back into the business. I just didn't understand it. And I really think that he just got too busy for his britches and was like, well, this is what she put in here. I'm not going to ask her questions. I'm not a freaking accountant. Ask me questions, dude. No. Took 10 minutes with me. Said, this is what you owe. And now you owe me $500. And I was like, okay. So that won't be happening again. But thank you, Vicky. That is great to know. Oh, speaking of, guess what? Your yarn is all ready and will be out in the mail tomorrow. I had to wait until after off to get the labels on there because we ran out of labels. But it's all lovely and beautiful and ready to go. In fact, if you want to see it, I can ask TK very nicely if you can pull the there's bags of yarn. I need the gray yarn that's on the chair in the living room. It's going to be Teenage Angst and Final Frontier. $5,000 total was what it was. It's not anymore. Calm down. That's what he told me. We don't know $5,000. Trust. Yes. 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 Oh, I just scared TK. He came in, he's like, how much do we owe? And he's like, but the previous is all paid off. I'm like, yes. Rat Mom says, hi, Rat Mom. Sounds like a great color combo. It is. It's beautiful. I can't wait for her to get it. Let me see it, please. That's one of them. The other one's in the bag. That's, so is that one Final Frontier? Yeah, Teenage Angst should be in the bag. So Vicky bought some of the singles that were available to our patrons. Oopsie, 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 oopsie. Oh, that's good. And they turned out so beautiful. TK's like, oh my gosh, maybe we should move our kitty glitter to singles. I don't want to. I'm keeping. I like plied yarn. I'm a ply girl, but these are really beautiful. I can't wait to see what you make with them. So, so those are the taxes we are paying them. We're on a payment plan for those ones. Those are the ones that we're amending because the guy screwed up. Those are the ones that we don't have any of our giveaways in there or anything else. He spent 15 minutes with them, told me that we owed $5,000, and then charged me $400. Want to punch him? Mm-hmm. So here they are. It's hard to see the glitter so much with all this light right here because there you go. So this is the Final Frontier one right here. You can see the greens in there and everything. Fly Ply Girl. And then this is Teenage Angst. And you guys, I loved this so much that now I have Teenage Angst and Kitty Glitter. We have Teenage Angst and Kitty Glitter, Cat's Cradle, and BKDK. And those will be available in the shop once we update the shop with pictures. So they're gorgeous and they're going out. I'm very excited for you. They are so pretty. They're so fragile. Yes, they really, really are. You have to be careful. Like, I would just be very kind and careful when you're knitting and crocheting with them. Some single plies like to snap or break. I tested these to a degree when I was dyeing them. So I like to snap my yarn after I've dyed it just to make sure it's in good shape. And nothing came apart or pulled apart. So these should be fine. But that's normally my problem with a lot of singles too, is that they're just not spun tight enough to hold their shape. Teenage Angst is back. It is. I missed it. We just had so many purples, and we still do. I think Laura Palmer might be going away for a little bit. It doesn't seem to be selling very well. I haven't had to dye a single skein of Laura Palmer in over a year. I mean, it's a great color. It makes me giggle, but it doesn't seem, people seem to shy from it, which is so strange. But, you know, to each their own, and we can just rotate things out and it works just fine. Leopold is one. I won't get rid of Leopold because I need to have some type of yellow, and it's such a beautiful buttery yellow. It goes through phases where people will buy some of it, but normally I only keep about 4 skeins on hand because nobody ever buys a full sweater's worth of it. Nobody ever buys a ton. They buy it for color work or for like socks, right? Like little tiny projects, that type of thing. Baby stuff. Sassy Pants is in Cat's Cradle right now. So is Bath Yellow. And those are also things that I usually keep only 4 to 6 skeins of. It's not something that most people are making sweater or buying sweater quantities of, unless your name is Laura. I don't think she's in here right now. Oh my God, it's so pretty. I'm not even a pink fan, and it's so freaking pretty. Oh, that's okay, Michi. That's okay. There will be opportunities, I'm sure, in the future. I'm sure I will make the same mistake at some point in time. Elizabeth, that's amazing. That's too good. So we are officially into the pink. And this is like a nice pale pink. This is like our Babe pink from the Storytime box set. Or not Babe, I'm sorry. Charlotte's Web pink. Some Pig from the Charlotte's Web set. There's a little green right in here. I love it. It's so cool. It is a good fade. If you weren't here earlier, I'm just gonna re-announce that we are doing an autumn box set. It is called the Tea Set, and it is based off of it's 5 skeins of yarn, all inspired by different plants that make tea. It's part of my Hedge Witch series. And there will be a 6th colorway that is a patron exclusive colorway. If you are a paid tier patron, you can head on over to patreon.com/bosskitty. You can vote for which one you want to see as the colorway of the exclusive colorway. I believe we've got Witch Hazel, We've got rose hip. We've got lavender, and we've got horehound. And currently, the last I looked, rose hips and witch hazel were kind of neck and neck. I think last time witch hazel was in second place, but they seem to flip back and forth. Of the new Twin Peaks from a couple years ago, that's so cool. I haven't watched the new stuff yet. I love the original show though. It's so hokey and terrible. I just rewatched it or started to season 1. I can only do so much at a time though because it's very much a it just gets so ridiculous and over the top, you know? But as long as you know that going into it, it's a ton of fun. I'm going back to read. I'm sorry. Off top, when I lay my head down on a side, it sounds like I have top rocks in my ear. I don't know anything about it. I'm going to the doctor, but it's driving me crazy. Did you go swimming or anything? Sometimes when I get water in my ear, it does weird things like that. I mean, definitely see a doctor about it for sure. Having trouble accessing the Discord. No worries. We can definitely throw a invite link in here. Let me see what I can do. I don't know if the there it is. So just click on that and see if that works. If not, let me know and I'll get a new invite link and throw it up for you. So I think we should probably, I'm going to say at 6:40, I'm going to go ahead and do our stretch break and then we can get back to spinning for a little bit and then we'll go ahead and do show and tell at 7:15-ish, I think. Does that sound good? To show my kids the hospital where they were born. That's so cool. Oh my gosh. So, do we have any viewers in here who are here because they met us this weekend at Oregon Flock and Fiber? Just out of curiosity, we'd love to give you a big, warm Boss Kitty community welcome, which is really just everybody going, "Hi, what's up?" I mean, I just gave away the big surprise, so you know, whatever. But still. Oh my gosh, how is it still so hot? I remember a few years ago, I think the first year that we came back from COVID to do Oregon Flock and Fiber, even though it was a great year for it, it was in October and it was 80 degrees. I was livid. I was like, what is this BS? Plus, we still had all the fires going on down here. Not that specific year, but there were still fires going on around the area. So it was smoky, just stinking miserable. And they're saying that because of the uncomfortable weather that people are getting during the summer months now, they're not going outside. Between that and the fires, people just aren't going outside. And that's why we're getting these spikes, COVID spikes during the summer, is that global warming, the wildfires, all of it is causing us to stay inside because it's not healthy to be outside as much, which I never thought those would be words that I would say. It's not healthy to be outside. Oh my God, Becky. Look at that bump. That was pretty good. It's very shiny. You make spinning so easy. It's very calming watching you spin. Well, thank you. It's very calming to sit here and spin, honestly. Like, I'm looking at the time and I'm like, oh, you need to do stretches, but I don't want to. I just want to sit here and keep spinning. That got a little tinier. You know what? It's fine. It kept it. I got a little kind of thread thin there for a second, but there's silk in here, so it gets really strong. I mean, it will break if I'm not careful, but it stays pretty strong. Because bugs, heat, and loud neighbors. Well, 2 out of 3 of those are, yeah, because of the world and its stuff's changing. The other one's just you have jackass neighbors. It does look like that, Lillian. Candy. What is candy? I barely go outside for sure. I try. We have bikes. We have a lovely neighborhood. But even so, this summer, as an example, even when I was home, I didn't get any gardening done. It was so muggy and gross outside. Every time we'd go out there, both of us were just like, nope, this is not happening today. It's so disgusting. Speaking of our backyard, we had an arborist come out yesterday and they finally trimmed the cherry tree and the fig tree. If you are in fact new to the show, welcome, welcome, welcome. TK and I bought a house. TK is my partner. We bought a house last year and it came with this beautiful 20-plus-year-old cherry tree and fig tree, both of which had clearly not been maintained in a few years. So they both were well overdue for a pruning, and they look so sad. The cherry tree really looks sad. Like they just went at it. They needed to. And then they opened up the fig tree, took a ton of the lower branches off, also fine, and topped it. They topped both of them, thank God. TK's a little concerned that next year my cherry bounty won't be as glorious. I don't think it's going to be an issue. There's still so many buds. Like you can already see all the new growth on the tree from, for next year. I really think that I will get just as many cherries as I've had in the past this year because I haven't been able to get the ones up at the top anyway, right? And that they will be larger because there will be more focus in the fruit itself. And then the year after that, it'll just be insane. Same with the fig tree, which I don't know if I can get figs bigger than I've had figs. My figs bring all the boys to the yard, right? They're like this big. They're huge. I'm not exaggerating. They're very large. They're delicious. The TK gave the arborist some jam and toast, and he was like, "This is the best fig jam I've ever had in my life." And he was like, "Well, we're out right now, so when she makes some more, I'll call you." Your heat tolerance. Yeah, what is candy? I'm curious too. Your heat tolerance has just gone bye-bye now that you're in your 40s. Same, girl. Oh my God. Because I was a hermit and now it's encouraged, right? You're just ahead of your time. That's all. That's all it is. Pony bead bracelets from Raves. It's a whole ass craft now. What? Oh, that type of candy. I should have known that. I am a child of the early 2000s, late 90s. What is wrong with me? A teenager, no less. I went to a rave. One rave. I went to a rave when I was 17, I think, with my friends Jasmine and Kevin. And they left me alone for 2 seconds. I am a very naive person, a very trusting person. I am a very, my friends like to call me a Pollyanna, right? I have no qualms about this. I am not ashamed of this in any way. It's part of what makes me who I am, and I love it. So 17, I do not do drugs, right? Not even marijuana. Don't drink because I'm 17. Like I'm a goody two shoes. That's not a goody two shoes, or hangs out with a bunch of non-goody two shoes. But they're all very protective of me because I am a goody two shoes. So I'm sitting there, and some random guy asks me if I wanted to. What did he ask me? Roll and poke, I think is what he said. And I started to giggle because it sounded so funny. And I tried to ask him what he was talking about. And my friend Kevin shows up, like snatches me by the back of my shirt and goes, "Nope," like pulls me away. Apparently, he was offering me drugs and sexy time. Who knew? I mean, it's a rave. I guess that's just kind of, a given. But I think they both regretted taking me because I don't think either of them got to enjoy themselves. They were both way too worried about my safety, which is ridiculous, but here we are. Your pecan tree didn't produce much of anything this year. It's kind of weird how fruiting trees work like that. It really is. Like they get to a point where they're on strike or they're throwing a fit because they want a haircut. Like, come on, tree, whatever. We have those screen mesh things too. Yeah. TK worried about my cherry bounty. That's amazing. Now I want a shirt that says that. Come check out my cherry bounty. And it says booty, but then booty's crossed out and it says bounty. So funny. There was something I said the other day that was hilarious, and I cannot remember what it was. Oh, TK actually had a good one too. We were talking about changing our booth up for shows so that they're a little more structured, like shelving almost with the grid walls, and then you can put LED lights in the shelving areas, right? And I said, well, you can, but you have to make sure they're white. I don't want colored lights on my yarn like they are here, because it kind of, I mean, it's cool. You can see that, like, you know, what's blacklight reactive and everything, but also it changes the color of the yarn. Excuse me. And he said, well, you'd kind of want some colored lights if you want to have a sale. And I said, oh, you mean like you could have your lights change color if you're having like a blue light special on a certain colorway? He goes, yeah. And then he goes, in his best TK voice, he says, what did he say? If the blue light's a flashing, there's a sale on your passion. And I don't know how many of you watch SNL, but Jason Sudeikis used to do a bit where he was a woman's sports announcer, and their products that would sponsor them were all like women's products, right? Like tampon is an example. And so those are the types of things he would say where they're, I mean, this wasn't inappropriate, but completely inappropriate. It rhymes like that. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but they're really funny. And that's what it reminded me of. I died. I couldn't stop laughing. If the blue light's flashing, there's a sale on your passion. Samantha, my braces are doing great. I've got my orange and black colors in for the spooky season because they will get changed out again right before Halloween. So yeah, they're fantastic. It's time to be stashing. Ooh, that's even better. TK, you've been top tier, sir. You have Miss Monster wins. Sorry. I did say hi to you, yes. I mean, I said hi to everybody, but yes, I said hi to you. Hello. Ooh, man, that pink came out of nowhere. Like, I'm looking down, I'm like, oh, so much pink. There's one little nubby in there somewhere. It got a little thicker than I wanted because it's got the stupid silk, but it's fine. It's fine. Oh no. TK's feeling threatened. The rat race continues. I know. I said it as soon as I said it, rat. I was like, well, there we go again. I'm just gonna Matt Mercer all night long, basically. And for those of you who watch Critical Role, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I believe the last one was when he was talking about somebody's walking around and he said that they spread their legs instead of spread their wings or stretch their legs. He kind of mashed it up together. Oh my gosh. My sides hurt. I laughed so hard. Show and tell is when I say it is. No, I'm kidding. It's at 7:15 Pacific time. So it's in about half an hour. I mean, the gutter is the place to have your mind. Everywhere else is just boring. And if you can't be in the gutter, then your mind might as well be there. Oh, I was telling you guys about my Power BI class. Anyway, I was super excited about this class. Really wanted to take it. Like, have been looking forward to it for months. And seriously, the instructor is terrible. He's all over the place. I mean, I'm all over the place, but he's really all over the place. And you can't be all over the place with this, right? There's literally no context to the things that he's trying to teach us. He just kind of jumps right in, like leading the blind. It's been awful. And I thought maybe it was just me because I have a difficult time learning things when people are lecturing, right? I need visuals and I need to be able to do it multiple times. No, we've had two different supervisors come into this class remotely and be like, hey, there's some concerns that this isn't really covering what we need it to cover. And he just keeps shrugging over it. And like at one point, somebody was lost and he screen shared with them and was trying to explain it to them. It's very hard to learn the way. And he said, do this, do this, do this. And they're like, but the steps don't stay to do that. And he's like, I know, just listen to me though. What he was doing is he was going back one lesson to make sure that they had finished those steps properly, but he didn't communicate that to the person. Like it took me a few minutes to figure out why the hell he was having them do this. Like all you had to say was, I'm actually going back a few steps just to make sure that we're on the same page here. Just bear with me and then we'll go through these steps. So this person is stressing out because they're like, what? I'm reading something entirely different. What's wrong with me? So complete lack of communication. I have one more day of this 3-day class and thank goodness that there's at least a tutorial and a manual so that I have that out of it and I can try to read it later and hodgepodge the information together. I mean, what are you going to do, right? Anyway, on that sad, sour note, I think it's time for stretches, guys.
It's time to stretch.
So if you're just joining us, during the show, at some point in time, we like to do stretches. It's really important that you make sure you're still constantly moving your body. We do a lot of crafting that is upper body only. So knitting, crochet, weaving, felting, spinning, but not just that. Most of us work in places where you're typing all day long or you're writing all day long or you're filing and collating. Like we're not stretching those muscles, and there's a lot of repetitive motion. Even if you're like a waiter or, you work in the food or retail industry, there's a lot of repetitive motion with your hands and your arms and your back and shoulders. So we're going to go ahead and do some stretches and just kind of relax. What happened where?
That didn't fill the screen. Somebody.
I don't know. I
blame you.
Of course. Okay, so just want you to take some breaths. We're going to do 3 of those. In your nose, out your mouth. Good. We're going to roll our necks. Give ourselves a double chin a few times. But at least nobody's looking at your double chin. They're just looking at my double chin. And that's okay. I want you to think about something this week that you're excited about or that makes you happy. And if you can't think of something that makes you happy, that's okay. Maybe something that's just really calming for you that you get to do. I'm going to kink right here. Step a little straighter. What is that? Ooh, olive. It's very tart. We're going to take our chin and turn it towards your shoulder. I like to keep that hand down. Use my other hand to kind of push a little bit, and you should feel that right in here. Make sure you're dropping your shoulder when you do this. You probably can't hear me very well because my head is all the way the other way. I'm going to go the other way. Turn your head. And it's so interesting because I still feel it on this side. Like that side of my neck is just so messed up. Oh, that's better. We'll roll our shoulders backwards. Exactly, Bubbles. That's how I feel. And there's labs in there, which is great. Now we're going to go forwards. And at first, he was going through the labs with us and talking over the top of it and expecting us to keep up, and it was very confusing. And finally, we were like, hey, maybe just let us have our lab time. And if we have questions, we'll ask. Okay, so we're going to take one hand forward. And we're going to bring it across. Hopefully there's not a microphone in front of you. There are bubbles. And I have access through the state to some LinkedIn in classes and things, but a lot of it is not within the parameters of our licensing, so they cost money, and I might take some. We'll see. I'm sure my boss will pay for it if I ask nicely. Well, the state will pay for it, not my boss. So now I'm extending my hand and I'm just pulling on my fingers. You can do this way too, which is what I'm going to do. And you're extending those tendons in your hand and in your wrists. Oh my gosh, crochet hook, sweetheart. Yeah, get those pops out of there. Okay, we're gonna do the other one. Ooh, this one hurts right here today. And that is from a weekend of moving things around and not stretching. I'm gonna pull on them. I'm just working my wrists at this point. Do the same on this. Don't force it. If it's tender, don't force it. This is part of the reason I'm not knitting tonight is because of this wrist. Because trust me, my pressed flowers cardigan, oh God, it's so pretty. I'm almost done with one of the sleeves. Then I'll just have the sleeve and the button whole panel to do. Just we'll wiggle out our fingers. We're not going to do our big finger ones today, I don't think. Excuse me. And that's it. We're good. Those are our stretches, you guys. Good job. Pat yourself on the back. Not too hard, though, or you'll have to stretch again. Okay. So actually, let's just take a moment there. We can talk a little bit. What have we talked about tonight? So we've talked about the struggles of owning a small business when it's growing. You know, you hear about a lot of people who grow too fast. That's what too fast means, right? Like they can't keep up with the growth financially. It's a thing. It's a real thing. Or space. And as far as the tax side of it goes, none of us are big enough to get any of those crazy tax cuts that, quite frankly, nobody should be getting anyway, unless you're, the lower tiers, lower income areas. So this is what it is. What else did we talk about? We talked about our schedule coming up. We've got a show at Hook and Needle in Vancouver, Washington. Let me double check that real quickly. I want to make sure I've got the date right on it. Make sure my sound is down while I pull up my phone. Hook and Needle Fiber. Yep, I got the right date. So we'll be out in Hook and Needle Fiber in November, second week in November. We've got Black Friday coming up. There's a box set being released in October, towards the middle to end of October. And that is our tea set box set. That'll be available on all of our bases. And if you buy any of the kitty glitter, the specialty bases, so the kitty glitter set or the BKDK kitty glitter or the super floof set, they will be called the Pinkies Up edition because I can't help myself. And they're going to be based off of plants that make tea. So tea plants. There'll be a chamomile one as an example and a hibiscus one. And I'm giving away a lot of the names and that's totally fine. In fact, I can tell you what we're doing. Let me tell you which colors we're going with loosely. These could change, obviously. That's not set in stone yet, but I'll give them to you guys anyway. So we're doing, off the top of my head right now, as far as I'm aware, unless I change my mind, we're doing chamomile, we're doing hibiscus, we're doing an Earl Grey and bergamot, we're doing, I don't remember, a valerian. What's the fifth one? I already said the hibiscus one. There is a fifth one, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. Oh, peppermint. Duh, peppermint. So lots of golden, roddy kind of colors. We've got some browns in there. We've definitely got some greens and whites and reds and purples. And that's kind of color-wise the theme that we're going with. Yeah, super excited about it. So excited about it. In fact, we will be releasing the label next Tuesday on the 1st of October, when is our next show is. Words are hard, right? And then we'll be releasing, we'll start pre-sales for our Patreons, our paid tier patrons. They can buy them. It's a blind buy. So you're buying the box set And you're choosing whether or not you're buying it for the 5 skeins or if you're buying all 6 skeins, including the Patreon exclusive colorway. And what you will know about the box set at that point is you will know what the label looks like. You will know what the colorways are going to be. And you will know which 2 colors will be specialty colors. So kitty glitter colors or super floof colors, depending on how you, excuse me, what type of base you buy. And then those will go out in the mail. They'll be ready and they will go out in the mail the day after the release of the set. So you will not have to wait the 4 to 6 weeks. You will get your hot little hands on it immediately. Very exciting, actually. And each of those, we're going to have a little blurb in there about the medicinal and magical uses for each of those plants. I'd like to have those on each of the labels. TK usually does a specialty blurb on the specialty label. I might actually write a specialty blurb for each one of those, and then we'll have separate labels for each colorway. It'll still be the same label, but the blurb on the side will be dedicated to the different colorways. And the names will either be the name of the plant, or it'll be the Latin version of the name of the plant, like the Latin name instead. I haven't decided yet. I have to look at the Latin names to figure out if we can do that. Really excited about that, though. Yeah, we've talked about a lot of stuff tonight. It's been a good evening. There's been a lot of new people in here who I haven't, or people I haven't seen in forever, which has been really great, actually. In fact, my phone has blown up a little bit. Give me a moment. Oh my goodness. Matt, thank you so much for your pledge and becoming a patron again. That's really exciting. We're thrilled to have you back in there. And I think he probably knows this, but let me double check. Let me double check something real quickly. So if you are, because here's the other thing that's coming out, you guys, that we didn't talk about earlier. We have a patron exclusive colorway that's being released for Black Friday. If you're a patron, you'll be able to purchase that colorway. If you are a paid level patron, you can order that colorway. The colorway was designed by our patrons. They've already voted on it. It's going to be a vintage fairy fantasy inspired multicolor or speckled. I don't know. I'd have to look. But that's what you guys know about it. That'll be available exclusively to our paid tiered patrons. If you are a Culticon subscriber or a Hazel's Heroes subscriber and you're an annual subscriber, you get a skein of that for free. And you get, I don't know if we're doing it on Kitty Glitter or if we're doing it on Cat's Cradle or BKDK. I'm not sure yet. I'll get back to you guys on that one. If it's available on all bases, obviously you'd get it at the base. And then you could, pay the difference if you wanted to, but I don't know. We have to figure that part out. That'll be released for Black Friday. And then my apologies. That's the one that, that's Hazel's Heroes. If you're an annual subscriber for Hazel's Heroes, you get access to that patron exclusive colorway. You get a free skein of that patron exclusive colorway. You can buy it anyway, but if you are a Hazel's Heroes annual subscriber, you get a free skein of that colorway. If you are a Cult of Con annual subscriber, then in springtime, we will be releasing a mini skein set that is Patreon exclusive. You guys will vote on that as well. And Cult of Con and Hazel's Heroes annual subscribers will get that free mini skein set as well. You guys don't have to pay shipping or anything on that. So Hazel's Heroes annual subscribers get both colorways for free, one set of them. And then Cult of Con annual subscribers get that mini skein set in the spring. Both of those colorways, the mini skein set and the regular skein, are available to all paid tier patrons to purchase when they are available. And they are available for a limited time. And I have completely hacked the hell out of that. So hopefully it made sense. Okay. Let's see. We got about 10 minutes before we're going to head over to show and tell. So if you haven't got anything in show and tell yet, now's the time to do it, you guys. You'll have to wait a whole week. Nick Cat, it was so good to see you. Have a wonderful evening. I hope we see you next Tuesday when we reveal that label. Yeah, I don't know if the patron exclusive colorways, the one we released for Black Friday and then the mini skeins, are going to be available on different bases or just on the cat's cradle. TK and I need to talk about that. I thought about it initially. I was like, oh, they'll just be available on all bases. But then I have to do mini bumps too, like little 1 ounce bumps of fiber. And while that in theory sounds like a lot of fun, it sounds like a flippin' nightmare is what it sounds like, because yeah, it just does. But I think I could do it. I don't know. I have to think about it. I have to talk to him about it. It's not a bad idea. You see a lot of mini Hanks, you know? What do you think, TK?
Mini Hanks?
Mini Hanks.
I do not think that they would sell at the quantity that you would need to do.
Exactly. That's my concern. His concern is my concern. So I have to dye in certain. Well, we're talking about for the patron exclusive mini skeins that we're gonna do in the spring, if those would be available on fiber. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I don't know if they'd be cost effective.
Exactly. I don't. So I'm kind of feeling like we should just leave it by. He just left.
I'm sorry. I don't know when you're talking to me, when you're talking to these yahoos.
We should just leave it on fingering weight on Cat's Cradle. Yeah, I think it's just going to be on Cat's Cradle. Keep it nice and simple. Maybe kitty glitter too if you want to up the price. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out.
We might, at one point, do a felting kit with smaller bumps, but that's about it.
Yeah, we might do a felting kit at some point in time with smaller bumps, but that's probably about it. Because you have to dye those in certain amounts, and that would get a little cray-cray. Mini Hank Jr. That's what we can call it. Volunteered your kids at school for picture day, running classes to and from. Got your kids picture packets for free because of it. That is huge because those are crazy expensive, which I think is dumb. Like, I know the photographer needs to get paid. I get that, whatever. But it always felt kind of shaming when I was in school if my parents couldn't afford my pictures. And they couldn't always afford them. Sometimes they could, sometimes they couldn't, right? Sometimes they just got that little tester one that they send home with you, and they're like, well, this can go in the fridge and we're good. Because rent is more expensive, or is more important. And they're not wrong. But I think price-wise, they've really gotten outrageous. And I mean, they're not using, as far as I know, they didn't used to at least, they're not using independent photographers. They're using companies. So, you know, you get that big of a sweet ass deal with the schools. You'd think you'd give a big fatty discount so that parents aren't paying through the nose for them. All the pink, so much flippin' pink. There's far more Miss Piggy in this than there is Kermit, which that tracks. I mean, let's be honest. She wouldn't have it any other way. Frank would not have it any other way either. Okay. If you've never stuck around for show and tell, it's a lot of fun. So around 15 after, we're going to head on over to Discord, and we will take a look at all of the beautiful pictures people have put in our show and tell feed for the night. And we'll look at the crafts that they're all working on. It's one of my favorite parts of the evening. Everything really has gotten expensive. It's crazy. I went to Winco to go grocery shopping for the first time in ages a few months ago. Because, you know, a lot of the time, I don't have hard cash to do my grocery shopping. So I have to go to like normal stores. And I don't know if there's a Winco across the country or not, but basically it's our thrifty grocery store here, but you have to use debit or cash. So I went to Winco, and my grocery bill went from $400 to pay for food for TK and I for the next 2 weeks. to $230. And I left and I was crying. And I called him and he's like, "What's wrong?" I said, "Nothing's wrong. How much do you think I just spent on groceries?" And I told him how many bags I had and what kind of stuff I had in there. And he was like, "Oh my God, I don't even know." He's like, "I don't know, like $500." Because, that's pretty standard these days. And I told him and he was in shock. So grocery shopping is the thing I think that's got me the most upset regarding inflation. It's food should not be a luxury ever. And healthy, good food should not be a luxury ever. You know? Miss Piggy is a star. She's the best kind of star. Ooh, there's some like orangey in here from where the green hit, and oh my God, it's so good, you guys. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Volume, you can barely hear me. Oh, I've got it all the way up, and I'm in the yellow. Can you hear me better now? Excellent, Matt. Good to know. Yeah, we got a new cord on the mic finally, which is really great. So, who is looking forward? I know we're all looking forward to the spooky season. I'm not talking about Halloween, just holidays in general. Who's looking forward to the holidays and who is shying away from them? You know, you got anxiety about the holidays. What's it about? Are you doing okay? I'm just checking in with people because we're getting into that part of the year where it can be, it's an emotional roller coaster. Because most people are either extremely happy and cheerful and in great places and feeling very loved, or they're the other extreme. So nobody's really ever in the middle these days. Not during the holidays. I mean, some people are, but that's usually the exception that proves the rule. 5 people, 3 dogs, 11 cats, 700 a week. Yeah, see, it's just nuts. I remember when we lived back in Portland, TK and we were dirt broke. And I'm talking like minimum wage, praying that we could make our rent, basically, right? And I would go grocery shopping and I'd have $20 in my pocket and it had to last a week. And we made it work. We'd have tilapia fish tacos with like some canned pineapple and jalapenos, and those would last for a few days. Like you could make those a few times throughout the week. We would have goulash. We would have I'd have salads, and he'd have rice bowls because rice is fairly inexpensive, was fairly inexpensive. Get tofu for fairly inexpensive. We made it stretch like that. That $20 could buy a few meals as long as I was clever about it. Now that $20 is lucky. I'm lucky if that $20 will buy me. Well, right now on sale, it'll buy me 5 pounds of hamburger. It's just nuts. You're just excited for fall and Halloween, really. Same. Holidays equals financial panic. It really does. I told TK today, I said, I don't want us to spend a bunch of money on each other this year. We're trying to get our feet grounded, and get ahead of the first time home owners, poor people feelings. So let's keep it low. He's like, that's hard, but probably what we need to do. And I was like, I know, but we can be clever. We've done it before. We had one holiday where, once again, when we were dirt broke, where we really didn't have any money. And he put together the sweetest tea set for me with a little tea tray that he hobbled it together through different Goodwills. Like he went to different Goodwills. He found a tea tray he really liked that was super inexpensive, I'm sure. And then he found a tea pot, and then he found a tea cup that he really liked, and then he picked up some tea to go with it. And that was my my holiday gift. It was perfect. It was wonderful. And I got him a bunch of graphic novels because I was working at the comic book shop at the time. So I went through, I used my discount, and just slowly when things were on sale, would pick up things that I knew he really wanted or that he would really like. And it wasn't a lot of them. I think there was like 2 or 3 graphic novels is what he got. And that was it. That was our holidays. And it was such a sweet, wonderful holiday. I remember it fondly to this day, obviously. I just got rid of the tea tray because it was falling apart, unfortunately, and broke my heart. But I think I still have the teacups. I'm not sure. I'd have to look. But it was just super sweet. And you can be clever like that, right? I was hearing her fine and haven't changed anything on my phone. Oh no, Vicky. Is it better yet? You might want to pop out and pop back in and see if that fixes it. Everyone is getting socks. Aldi and Shop and Save are my go-tos. Ooh, I've never heard of those places. 80% ground beef, $2.97 a pound on sale or $5.99 off sale. For 80% ground beef, right? Like that's not even super lean ground beef. That's just standard ground beef. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but oh my goodness. We did find pork butt, like, rump roasts on sale for $1.99 today at the store. So we picked one of those up because it's huge. I can cut it in half. It's got a nice layer of thick fat on it, so I can take that off and use that and half of the pork to make homemade pork sausage. And then we can use the other half to either make a roast or to make pulled pork and use it in tacos, or it's shredded pork basically, and you can use it in tacos. You can use it in casseroles. I mean, you can be used in a million things. So that was a find and a half. I should have purchased more than one. Oh, excellent. I love it, Elizabeth. I'm not a fan of the pressure around Christmas either, which is why I've kind of let the pressure go. Like last year everybody got jam and they got pickled items from us, and that was about it. Some crackers. And it's really funny because I was so stressed last year about that. And everybody loved it. Like my mother-in-law came up to me when we went to Nampa, and she looks at me. Oh, it's show and tell time, guys. She looks at me and she corners me and she goes, "Hey, I know what I want for the holidays." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Be aggressive, why don't you?" "I want more jalapeno jam." "Awesome. But I don't want just one small container, Simi. I want like a lot of jalapeno jelly." It's like, okay. I think we can probably make that happen. Do you want anything else? She's like, "Nope, just the jelly. Give me the jelly." Because she loves it on cream cheese, right? And then you put it on crackers and it's really good. So I stopped spending stupid amounts of money on people because nobody ever remembers it. Why bother? It's not what it's about. You worry. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Crock-pot's your best friend. Same. My Dutch oven, man. That thing is my lifesaver. Okay. Where's my Discord? Discord, where are you? Dissy, Discord. Dissy, Discord. There you are. We're going to pop that baby right up. Do not switch the device, sir. Thank you very much. Ooh. Okay, that's old. I was like, what's happening there? Okay, let's go down to show and tell. And I'm going to bring this over. You guys ready? 9 new messages. Marcus read. Disable that. Okay, so we have... This is from Fox Goddess. "Good evening. I'm working on a hat for a friend and I can spin up some clock. And I spin up some clockwork floof on my new U. Is it an U or is it an EEW? I never know how to say it. 6.1 that my boyfriend bought me, and I couldn't love him more for encouraging me to dive into this adventure. You will love spinning if you don't already. So this is a hat that she's making for a friend. It's beautiful. I love the inspiration right here. These colors are so good. Oh. Now I want to make this hat in... I want to do the exact same thing, except for I want to do it in Princess of Mars Balrog, Brass Monkey, Tales from St. Olaf. That green though, man. I don't want to use Forest Park for it. I don't know. I have to think on it, but it's beautiful. I love it. And then here is her spinning electric eel wheel. It's an eel wheel. Okay. Here's her spinning. She's doing the clockwork floof. Oh my gosh, this looks amazing. The fact that you just got this and this is how you're spinning on it already, I'm just blown away. It's so beautiful. Your spin is nice and even. Oh, I hope you're enjoying it. It's really, really pretty. Bubbles, my cabled cardie is almost done. Huzzah. Just need to block and seam down the pocket linings. Not yarn related, but kind of. After going to the Yarn Fest on Saturday, we spotted the Wienermobile on its way somewhere. Knitting a Doppio sweater out of the fluffiest brushed alpaca wool nylon mix of yarn. It's like a cloud. Oh my gosh, Bubbles, this is so beautiful. So are the sleeves a different dye lot? They look fine. If they are, that's not me saying, oh my gosh, these look terrible. I think it looks really neat. What it's doing right now is, and it might be the lighting, is that you've got the really dark body. And then I think maybe you started alternating in the top of the sleeves and then went into that final color. I think it looks really cool. It gives it kind of a gradient look. Like, it's really neat. I like it. I actually think I like it better than I would have if you had had the exact same color throughout the whole entire thing, including the sleeves. It separates things a little bit. It's really cool. Yeah, Elizabeth's right. Here is the Wienermobile. I'm hungry. There's chicken waiting for me. The line yarn that she's not selling anymore, I had to fade the lighter skeins to make it work. It looks great. And then this is your Doppio sweater. Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. It looks like a cloud too. Like the color is perfect for that. Ah, it's gonna look great on you. Miss Monster, my latest sock project, Hermione's Everyday Socks using a limited BK colorway from a couple of years ago called Gracie's First Winter. That was our holiday color from our first year with Gracie. Little baby boot bear. With soot for contrast teal and toe. Finally finished my quick summer sock project, but I haven't woven the ends in or washed them. My wheel spinning whip, my first fractal spin. How are you enjoying that fractal spin? They're so much fun. Oh my gosh. You know what the problem is with holiday colors that we do? I don't remember how the hell I made them, so I guess I could go look at the picture and try to like take this apart because this would make great fiber. Like that color would make such a good fiber. Oh, this looks beautiful though. I love when you do the Hermione's socks because they're always so great. Good job. Here are your summer socks. Congratulations that they're done. You get some confetti too because I know that's been a long endeavor. They look fantastic. I love the colors and they'll actually work perfectly for the fall. Hi Yarn Pirate, how are you? It's so good to see you. And then here's your first fractal spin. Congratulations. Looks excellent. It's going to look amazing. I like that you've done the long piece and then you got the shorter bursts of color on the other one. Koi fish. Oh my gosh, for real, they do. Oh, we missed you too. But we'll be back next Tuesday and we'll be revealing the label for the box set, the tea box, or the tea set rather, the tea box, the tea set. So there's that. Elizabeth 84, hats off to you with the dyeing yarn. I tried using Rit Emerald, dark green and black. Did not turn out. Superwash Merino, originally natural colored. That's okay. You know what though? These look excellent. You say they didn't turn out. I know they didn't turn out the way they are in your brain. I totally get that. I understand it. These are beautiful. Once you skein them up, they won't look all, wrinkly and stuff. And when you knit with them, you're going to love it. Yeah, I think they're beautiful. I can see the green in that. It's really lovely. Good job, Elizabeth. Crochet hooked. One finished cardigan. I can't remember if I've shared it yet. I don't think you have. My Halloween shawl and the finished Mac Attack's 80s night court inspired sweater. That's fantastic. Mac Attack. I love it. This looks so cozy. I think we talked about this before. You were working on it and I said it gave me kind of Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas vibes. Here's your Halloween shawl. I remember you working on that. Looks great. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Mac Attack sweater. That teal is still one of your favorite colors. This one right here, yeah, it's a good color, isn't it? Sammy Crochet, here's my sun bunny that I finished. Congratulations, Sammy. They are beautiful. I love them. Their ears look great. You did a great job on the stuffing, and you got the eyes in just the right place. Oh, I see one hidden over here too. Perfect fall colors for sure. Michi, my first pick is the beginning of the Annie's Moroccan tile Afghan. Oh my gosh, girl. I'm so jealous. That's gorgeous. This one is called Floating Lanterns Afghan. Second picture is a C2C crocheted blanket. It'll be a donation to Boggy Creek. The last picture is my apple buddy that I made with my new Chunky Premier fruit cake. I think he's adorable. This is stunning. I don't know if because you said it's a knit along, or crochet along. I don't know if they came with like kits with prepackaged colors. If not, your eye for color is just out fucking standing. This is gorgeous. I love it. Colors in this are great too. Oh my gosh, it's going to be such a great gift for somebody. It just looks so squishy and lovely. And he's adorable. Oh my gosh. He's just this chunky little thing with a little roly-poly belly. And I like that his ears are mismatched. That's so cute. It's a monthly kit. Oh, well, they got those colors just perfect. Hey, Samantha, I forgot to ask, how did you enjoy Portland? Vicky, finished the Amber Afghan TLY yarn pattern for my cousin's Christmas present. Just have to add the fringe. It's beautiful. Oh, I love the white in there. It really gives it a kind of strange visual effect. Oh, she's going to love it. Baby doll, my Beetlejuice themed cardigan that I started a year ago. I may have bitten off more than I can chew. Never. It's going to be amazing, and you're going to finish it, and it'll be phenomenal. And then you'll look in a mirror. Well, you don't even have to look in a mirror. You'll just say Beetlejuice's name 3 times. He'll show up. He'll tell you how beautiful and amazing it is. He'll try to take it from you, and it'll be a whole thing. That'll be Beetlejuice 3. I love it. It's great. I like the way the squares have gone together. Like it almost looks like stitching, not stitching like stitches stitching, like Frankenstein stitching. And I like that you're using 2 different purples in here. I think that really helps. Yeah, agreed. Agreed. You guys, that's show and tell. That's it. That's it. We done. I want to keep going. I just want to keep spinning. But I need to eat and I need to let you guys go. We've had such a great day. It's been a great night to come back. We've had some old friends and new friends show up, which is always wonderful. This weekend is going to be quiet. TK and I have some time to ourselves. We're going to work on our house. I'm going to work on the taxes. He's going to work on the label. I think we might go to the beach together and be romantic and dumb because, that's what you do when you love somebody, right? Sometimes, maybe not all the time. I hope you all have wonderful weekends as well. And I hope to see every single one of you next Tuesday at, it's too close now, at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. We will be back here. It's the first Tuesday of the month. If you were at OFF and you saw our live stream marketing pictures, which were great and fantastic, they did have a typo on them. They said the first and third Monday of each month. It is the first and third Tuesday of each month. So we will be here next Tuesday, October 1st. I will be revealing the new tea set label. Very excited about it. I don't even know what it looks like yet. So super stoked. And we will be doing pre-orders for those tea sets, those box sets for our paid tier patrons. So make sure that you're ready for that because those will only be open for a week because then I've got to order that yarn so that your beautiful sets are ready to go out when the set drops. I love you all so much. I hope you love yourselves. Once again, if you have been on the fence about some of our super floof, I've fixed the colors. So ignore the pictures that are in the shop. This is Forest Park as an example. You know you want it, so you should probably go pick it up because I don't expect these to stick around very long before I have to go buy some more and dye some more. Buy and dye. I love you all. I'll see you next Tuesday. Hope you had a great September because the next time we talk, it's going to be October. Bye, guys. Man, I hope so too, Rat. That sounds amazing.